Well, I said I'd be back. Like I said a bit later on. Like I said I would do back into the weekend, as I'm here to discuss the Grimsby Town draw, um, and of course the game ended Grimsby 2, Harrogate 2. Oh joy! Um, and it was. I would say a game of two halves, but it was probably a game of missed opportunity for the Mariners, and a game really Town should have won. Um, I mean the team lineups were as follows. We had Jordan Wright in goal, back three of Rogers, Thorne and McJanet. McEachran just in front of those. Svanthorsson, Green, Corey and Hume, with Barrington and Rose leading the line. And the bench, of course, was Jordan Davis, Jake Eastwood, Dara Burns, Curtis Thompson, Yesa Torre, Charles Vernon, and Terrell Warren. All I could say about that is it was a decent team. It was a good team that we had out, a strong team that we had out, going to a very resolute Harrogate Town. Let's say that. And of course, two former Mariners were in the side. For Harrogate in the midfield, which was Bryn Morris and Ben Fox, were the two former Mariners in there for Harrogate. And Bryn had a cracking shot in the second half, which I'll talk about briefly soon. But the Mariners started off fairly well. It was even for about the first half hour. I think the Mariners were slightly edged it, but not by a great deal. It was really an even half, in truth, and I think it was an even game in that aspect, in truth. I mean, the possession was 50.1 against 49.9. So possession-wise, there wasn't much on it. The alarming thing is we had 13 shots during the game to Harrogate's 15. We had 5 on target to Harrogate's 2. That goes on to the first goal, which came somewhat from a Harrogate attack, which sort of broke down. Kieran Green picked it up, and oh my word, what a strike from around about, it had to be about 60 yards, 60, 70 yards from inside his own half. Did it further than what David Beckham did against Wimbledon all those years ago. And it just went over. Like he said, he didn't have much to go, as they said on Coventry. He had about a yard, or about a foot between where the goalie was stood and the net to get it in that little part, and he managed it. What an absolute goal of the season in League Two, period. That should be our goal of the season, I think. And it was just like Kieran Green, always charging forward, always breaking forward, was probably our main threat throughout the first half. Like Artel did say in his post-match that we didn't play that well today. I'd say in general, probably on the ball, no, we didn't play that well. In fact, Harrogate probably had it more on the ball than we did. But that first goal was absolute wow. And that won't be beat by anybody. There's not been a better goal this season at any level than that one. So Kieran gave us the best start. Best start. The best game after 40 minutes, and then it was a long throw in by Doug, which created another one, and another cracking goal. Svanthorsson volleying in from just inside. I think it was just inside the penalty area, or on the corner of the penalty area, and what a strike that was. James Belcher had no chance with that to make it 2-0 going into half time, and at that point you're thinking, Harrogate had sort of lost any sort of bounce that they had up to that, and it was two cracking finishes by the Mariners to put us 2-0 up at half time. And I don't think anyone could probably see the second half that came that did. Again, Town in the second half, though, off the ball, as Artel was saying in his post-match, we were nowhere near as good. We lost the ball a bit easier, a lot more easier than we did in the first half. We were picking up a lot of second balls in the first half. We started not to do that in the second, which made it a lot more harder to take control. Whether the lads, and I'm sure they didn't do this intentionally, switched off and thought, we got this. I'm not saying they did, but you have to look at it from a subconscious point of view. Maybe they did, I don't know. Because, you just thought, that sort of 2-0, you're thinking, especially with the way our form has been overall away, you're thinking Town should be able to see this out. And in truth, we did have a bit of a blow when Doug Tharm did go off injured with about 75 minutes gone with cramp. Apparently, Artel said rarely playing in a back three, he can't see how and why you should be going down with cramp. Especially as you don't run around as he put it, as a lot of the team at the midfield or the attack does. It, for some reason though, it was just about. I always talk about doing your job. This one was game management. This game was all about game management because really, up until when Doug went off, we were, to be honest, in complete control in truth. We did lose the energy of Evan Coy, but Jordan Davis is not a bad replacement at all. But once Doug went off on 75 minutes when Terrell Warren came on, for some reason we actually looked like strangers for the first time in a while, and just switched off. I think, like I said, I think subconsciously the lads probably thought they'd done it. They probably thought they'd done enough, and boy did we get proven wrong. And Taylor got the goal on 85 minutes. To be fair, it was a good goal by him. A cracking finish, no chance for right in our goal, but you started to think, this is getting edgy, and but with 5 minutes to go, with 2-0 up, with 5-10 minutes to go, you shouldn't be dropping points from there. And that's anybody. That's any team. We shouldn't have dropped points from there. Cracking finish by Taylor. And, Harrogate's tails were up. Plain and simple. Harrogate's tails were up. And it was just 2 minutes after that it was a ball into the box and headed in an own goal by So Danny Rose. Danny got his head onto a cross, but it came at it so quick. He had it rather than trying to get it over. It went directly into the other corner, which in the end sealed the draw. Danny will be absolutely gutted. Everyone will be gutted. But that really is. That really is 2 points dropped there. 2 goals conceded in 2 minutes from a 2-0 lead. It's like, you can't do that. You genuinely can't do that. And it just shows you about game management. We didn't get on the ball enough in the second half. The second balls, we weren't really picking them up like we were in the first half. Off the ball, like Artel said, we were good in the first half. Off the ball, not very good on the ball, but off the ball good. I think it was pretty much the same. This time, though, we got punished for that. It was just it was shocking to see, and really, I was sat there shaking my head after the own goal went in. Thought, how have we managed to do this? And we did make a rod for our own back. It was our own fault that we drew this game. Yes, we haven't got a good record at Harrogate. That's understandable. But when you're 2-0 up with 5 minutes left and you end up drawing 2-2, it's just all about game management. Town's game management in that game was not good. It was not good. We should not have let Harrogate into that match. But fair play to Harrogate. We switched off for that 10 minutes between 80 and 90. We switched off. At the end of the day, they thought, right, we're gonna come and try and get something if we can by putting balls in the box, making it difficult, which they did. And Simon Weaver's teams always do that. Harrogate Town are they may be down in the lower end of League Two, but they're not gonna roll over. And I think that they proved that again against us on Saturday. They're not gonna roll over. And at the end, it wasn't enough. Like I said, just before their second goal, obviously former Mariner Bryn Morris had an absolutely cracking strike, which Wright had to push away. One of his dynamite strikes. So it could actually have been worse for Grimsby in that second half. To come away with a point is disappointing because you really shouldn't from 2-0 up. But it really could, on that second half performance at least, it could have been a lot worse. So I suppose the positive from this game is simply this. We got something out of it. Whether we actually deserve anything, in the end, probably not. We're probably lucky to get what. In the end, we were lucky to get what we got. But I think, as Arta was honest during the Bows match, we didn't do enough to win the game. And it's key about what I said about doing your job. I always say that about any team. Do your job. And then no other result matters. The only reason why people will be worried about the Colchester result is we didn't do our job. They ended up nicking a late winner. Well, it wouldn't have mattered if we'd have held on. It's all about doing your job. It's not about anybody else's job. The only game you worry about that on, if needed, is the last one. If it's required. And I think it's just one of these situations where we cannot dwell on this. That's the players, that's David, that's Sean, that's Ben, that's all the coaching stuff, all the coaching staff, all the fans. And I know some fans are frustrated with losing. I was fuming after seeing that. But like I said, we can't dwell on it. We didn't do our job against Harrogate, and Colchester have caught up with us. We're still in our hands, as it said, because obviously we're still in the top 7. Colchester are trying to break into the top 7. So, you know, we've just got to, you know, take our medicine and get ready for Good Friday, really. Hopefully Doug Tharm should be okay. I hope he is. I hope he's okay. Obviously, I bet Evan Corey's okay as well. And, you know, and we just have to, like I said, dust ourselves down and go, okay, it was a game, it just didn't. In the end, we got probably what we deserved. And probably on the second half performance, we were lucky to get that. But we move on. It's ended up Harrogate 2, Grimsby Town 2, and it's just one of those performances. Frustrating, disappointing to have happen, but it's something that we have to move on from quickly. We've got the game coming up against Swindon. Like I said, I will be doing previews for both of those individually, so look out for those. Leave your thoughts down below on your thoughts. If you went to Harrogate yesterday, what was the feeling around the fans in the stadium? What, you know, really, they seemed stunned by what happened. I could tell by looking at highlights. Were they? And let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. By the way, around about nearly 1,000 people there. Congratulations to them that went. If you did go, let me know down below what you thought. And you know, how disappointed are you with this one? And has that changed your opinion on things going into this run-in? Let me know down below. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll be back with a preview either Wednesday or Thursday, leading towards the Good Friday game in Holloway, Swindon. Boy, I'm not going to say we need a win in that one, but we like a win in that one. But Holloway's team will be bouncing after getting a miraculous 5-4 win over former leaders Bradford. So, you know, they're going to be coming in with a bit of a hype. I'll have a preview for that, like I said, Wednesday or Thursday. In the meantime, guys, stay safe, have a good week, up the manners, and well, it's the return of Ian Holloway next. Will it be a Good Friday for town? We'll find out then. I'll be back with a preview very shortly. In the meantime, guys, up the manners, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da for now. Way! Let's hope we can bounce back from this.